When you really think about the American identity, there's this fascinating paradox right at its core. And it was captured perfectly by Ronald Reagan in two incredibly powerful, but kind of contradictory ideas. One is this grand, optimistic vision of a shining city. The other, it's a really stark, urgent warning about just how fragile freedom is. So, how can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into. Okay, so first things first, we've got to get one foundational idea on the table. America is not some finished product. Not at all. It's more like a dynamic, ongoing project that's constantly being shaped by these huge forces of liberty and democracy. Keeping that idea of constant evolution in your head is absolutely key to understanding the tension we're about to explore. All right, let's start with the first big idea. This is the aspirational one, a powerful metaphor for what America is always striving to be. And man, it's a vision that has captured people's imaginations for generations. And there it is. Just let that sink in for a second. That one single phrase just paints such a powerful picture, doesn't it? An image of brilliance, of standing tall, a beacon for the entire world to see. It's just a profound statement of optimism about what this nation can be and what it promises. But this whole shining city thing, it's way more than just a pretty phrase. It represents a beacon of hope for people who are searching for a safe harbor. It's a symbol of freedom for anyone who's oppressed. And it's this idea of a land of opportunity for anybody who dares to dream big. At its core, it's a vision of America setting an example for the rest of the world. Okay, so we've got that bright, shiny ideal. But right alongside it, Reagan offered something a lot more serious to think about. This is the flip side of the coin, the counterpoint to the dream. It's a stark reminder that comes attached to that big promise. Wow. I mean, that just completely flips the script, right? We go from this soaring aspirational vision to something pretty chilling. What he's saying here is that freedom isn't some family heirloom you just get to inherit, no questions asked. It's not guaranteed. It's more like a fragile flame that could get snuffed out in a single generation if we're not incredibly careful about protecting it and passing it on. So when you put them right next to each other like this, you can really feel that tension. On one side, you have this image of an eternal, shining city, and on the other, a freedom that could literally vanish within our own lifetime. So how do you square that? Well, it suggests that the promise of that shining city is totally conditional. It's not a guarantee. It only exists if each generation steps up and shoulders the massive responsibility of preserving that freedom. And that, of course, brings up a huge question for all of us. Not just for people back then, but for us right now. If freedom demands this constant vigilance, this constant guard, what does that actually mean? What does it look like in our day-to-day lives, in our society today? What does this responsibility actually demand from us? All right, so this brings us to our final part, where we're going to try and make sense of these two seemingly opposite ideas. Because it's not really about picking one over the other. It's about figuring out how to live in that space, that tension that they create together. And here's the real takeaway, the thing that kind of clicks it all into place. The real American story, it seems, isn't just the shiny ideal, and it's not just the scary warning. It's the constant tug of war between them. It's found in the daily work, the messy debates, the constant effort to try and live up to that amazing aspiration while never, ever forgetting the warning. And that leads us to a really simple, but honestly pretty profound thought. The American story continues. That tension we've been talking about, it's not meant to be perfectly solved. Because the whole point is that the work is never finished. This project of shaping the nation and protecting its liberties, it's a story that just keeps going. So that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. If the story is still being written, if it's unfinished, and it's on every single generation to keep that fragile freedom safe while chasing that shining ideal, then you gotta ask, right? Who's holding the pen for the next page?